Nadidinig ko rin ito, and I think one of your colleagues mentioned this argument na yung mga kongresista na gustong matanggal sa pwesto via impeachment yung Vice President, takot lang na balikan sila nitong Vice Presidente kung maging presidente na siya sa 2028. Dahil 1,000,000% daw hindi mapapakiusapan ito. Anong tingin niyo? Anong basa niyo rin sa ganung argumento?
Well, alam po ninyo, dapat hindi i-conflate yung usapin po ng accountability measures for each and every high-level public official. No? So, ibig sabihin, kung kailangan ng panagutin yung pong mga tao relating to flood control corruption, infrastructure corruption, or whichever form of official corruption, dapat panagutin ho sila. And in the same manner, dapat panagutin din po yung mga high-level impeachable officers na talaga pong nagkasala or nag-misuse po talaga ng pondo ng bayan. No? So, kumbaga, hindi yun dapat pagbanggain. Ang posisyon natin, lahat po yan, dapat pong panagutin. Kung meron pong umiiral at nakalatag pong mga ebidensya, laban po sa kanilang lahat.
Yung Maleta story na ina-amplify ng kanyang mga taga-suporta all over social media, how do you think this could affect the impeachment proceedings?
Tingin ko wala naman po masyadong epekto yung pong kwento ng Maleta. No? Kasi, again, yung pong affidavits themselves, no? Ba't po ng questionable parts yung pong affidavits themselves. No? So una, yung unang tanong ho doon, at ito po yung glaring, yung pagkakabanggit ho kay Congresswoman Laila De Lima. Bahagi daw po ng mga kongresista na nakatanggap po ng paper bag o maleta, when in fact, hindi pa ho siya kongresista noon. Pangalawa, may pagbanggit doon ng pangalan ni Paul Estrada na isa daw po sa mga EA ni Congressman Zaldico. Pero yung publicly available pictures ni Paul Estrada ay hindi po yun yung itsura niya. At pangatlo, at ito po yung pinagtatawanan ng mga netizens, no? Bakit daw po dun sa pagbibilang ng pera ay nakahawak daw po sa takip ng rice cooker? Yung pong isa sa mga taga-bilang ng pera. So, and ang feeling nila parang AI daw po, yung pong litrato na yun. So, tatlo lamang po mga halimbawa yan doon sa mga problema nung sworn affidavit mismo. So, ibig sabihin, we have to take it with a grain of salt. No? Kung lehitimo ba o tama ba na pakinggan ito pong kwento ng mga 18 Marines po na ito.
But I think you would also agree that it's pretty obvious that there's a coordinated amplification of this Maleta narrative, hindi ba?
Well, I think there is, no? Pero again, yung kailangan pong isurmount po talaga in terms of credibility nito pong 18 Marines po na ito, yung sworn affidavit itself, no? Kasi nga, pinirmahan ho nila yun eh. And they should have checked, and their lawyer should have checked na in each and every page, totoo, tama. Ito po nga lahat ng mga detalye na nabanggit po ron. Kasi for example, nag-clarify po yung abogado tungkol kay Congresswoman Laila De Lima na hindi pa siya congressman noon, pero nakatanggap pa rin daw siya ng maleta o ng paper bag o ng envelope. Pero touch move ho yan eh. Kasi syempre, ang pagkakalatag ho ng listahan in that affidavit, mga kongresista po na supposedly tumanggap mula sa iba't ibang mga lugar. No? So, they cannot go to the public and clarify na, ay, nagkamali kami sa bagay na yan at inaatas namin yung particular na fact na yan, pero minemaintain namin na kumuha pa rin siya ng maleta or paper bag. It goes into the heart of their credibility moving forward.
Okay. Pag-usapan naman natin yung yung mga susunod na proseso dito. So yung susunod, sabi niya, determination ng sufficiency and grounds. What happens? Especially papunta na kayo sa inyong break eh. What happens next?
Yung pong determination of sufficiency and grounds, pag-usapan ho dyan, katulad na binanggit ko, yung pong napag-usapan on substance and the answer, so there will be a vote on it. After a vote on it, magpo-proceed na po doon sa hearing proper. No? So pag nag-proceed po sa hearing proper from tomorrow and for the next couple of weeks, ang expectation ho natin doon, magpapasabpina na ho ng lahat ng mga dokumento, lahat po ng mga witnesses, resource persons na nababanggit po sa mga complaints and nababanggit po in the course of all the proceedings.
Yung actual hearings, kailan magsisimula?
I think as soon as next week, next 2 weeks, magkakaroon na po ng hearing proper. Pagkatapos po ng vote on sufficiency of grounds.
Kasi inisip ko masyadong masalimuot yan, no? And of course, the Vice President can always run to the Supreme Court. For instance, pag pinag-usapan ng kanyang bank accounts, di ba? Darating pa talaga sa punto na mabubuksan yan. Para magkaalaman na kung meron siyang talagang mga unexplained wealth or may mga, yung allegation, for instance, dati pa ni Senator Trillanes.
Yung po impeachment proceedings, meron po yung kapangyarihan na buksan po yung bank accounts ng lahat po ng mga napag-uusapan sa isang impeachment proceeding, no? So isa ho yan doon sa mga exceptions po ng bank secrecy law. So I'm quite sure meron po subpoena na may issue against the bank accounts of the banks, to look into the bank accounts of Vice President Sara Duterte, Attorney Manscarpio, and all the other business interests po na nababanggit, no, doon po sa kanyang 2024 SALN. So yan po, that will be looked into by the committee. So yun yung una on with the banks, no. But secondly, also there will be a subpoena to the Anti-Money Laundering Council to check whether or not there are covered transactions, suspicious transactions relating to the Vice President, Attorney Carpio, and to all their other business interests that had been listed in the 2024 SALN.
Ano palang plano niyo dun sa dalawang miyembro ng kanyang legal team? Would you push for their exclusion given the so-called conflict of interest that you mentioned a few days ago?
I think tomorrow there will be a discussion on it, and there will be a motion to reject their entry of appearance. And I want to explain it again. Na I think the committee is very much concerned, no, that the two lawyers will raise client confidentiality to avoid answering questions relating to their work in the Department of Education and in the Office of the Vice President. For context, for example, Mr. Monsayak, no, Reynold Monsayak and Michael Powa, no, ito mga high-level, these are not ordinary lawyers, these are high-level officials in the OVP and the Department of Education. Si Mr. Monsayak, kasama ho siya dun sa mga binabanggit ni Yusek Gloria Mercado, no, that tried to influence yung po procurement process in the Department of Education. Nababanggit din po siya doon sa Madriaga Affidavit. No? So, I think hindi po pwedeng payagan ng komite na i-erase po ng mga abogado pong ito yung client confidentiality when asked about matters relating to their work.
Kanina narinig ko yung panayam ni Attorney Powa, no? Isa sa mga binanggit niya, he was disputing that, no? Yung position ninyo. Pero isa sa mga binanggit niya, dati naman daw nung humarap siya ron sa pagdinig ng House Committee on Good Government, hindi naman daw siya sumagot naman daw siya sa lahat ng mga tanong. So, basically, you shouldn't have to worry about it daw. The so-called client lawyer privilege that might be invoked.
Well, we appreciate that candor, no, of Attorney Powa, but that was not an impeachment proceeding before. There were no entries of appearances that had been submitted by lawyers. No, they were invited solely as resource persons and witnesses in those proceedings. Ibang bagay na po ito. So, ibig sabihin, that would be good that they will still answer questions. No? Pero, syempre, we are not certain at this point whether they will still be answering the same questions when propounded to them, no, in the course of the impeachment proceeding. So, magkaibang proseso po yon. Dati, it was just a hearing in aid of legislation. This hearing is an impeachment against the impeachable official. So, hopefully, ganun pa rin ho yung magiging pagiging bukas, no, ni Attorney Powa when he gets invited to our proceedings. But again, I think the committee will still have to reject their entry as defense counsels of the Vice President.
Yung pinakaabangan ng marami, yung katotohanan doon sa Mary Grace Piatos, kailan ba magkakaroon ng bulat-latan ng detalye kung talagang kalokohan yung pinuntahan ng malaking bahagi ng confidential funds ng Vice Presidente?
Well, yung pong katotohanan naman po ng Mary Grace Piatos, na-prosecute na yan previously, no, in the Good Government Committee hearing. So, bubuin lang po ulit, no, ito pong mga kwento at testimonya sa bagay po na ito. Kasi, for example, yung mga PSAs naman po relating to these names, andyan na po yan. That already exists, no? Kailangan lang ho ipaliwanag kung paano ho ba ginamit talaga. At napunta ba talaga sa mga tao, supposedly na mga confidential agents, yung pong mga kapirahan po na pinag-uusapan. No? And marami po actually na mga additional na detalye. Kasi for example, yung pong Madriaga affidavit, nakatali po yan eh. Supposedly doon po sa paggamit po ng confidential funds. Ibig sabihin, nung po nakuha supposedly yung pera mula sa land bank, napunta na ho doon sa mga tao katulad ni Mr. Madriaga, yung pong mga kaperahan po na ito. So, yan po yung bagay that we will have to test as soon as we get into hearing proper. Kasi I think even our colleagues should be convinced that Mr. Madriaga is an actual, credible, and legitimate witness, no? Dito sa bagay po na ito.
How likely will the House committee take custody of him?
I think there is a motion for it, no, but we will have to coordinate with the court that has jurisdiction on him and with the BGMP that is his current detention facility. Pero syempre, we have to talk to Mr. Madriaga also kasi baka naman din ayaw niya pala na malipat ho yung kustodiya. No, so I think that's a continuing conversation that we need to have as soon as we get to hearing proper po.
Okay. Finally, kasi tinitingnan ko yung time frame nitong actual hearings, no? In the meantime kasi palala ng palala yung sitwasyon sa Iran conflict and pataas na pataas yung presyo ng gasolina. Sa buong mundo, specifically, of course, including the Philippines, darating yung point na talagang understandably, dun matutuon yung atensyon ng marami sa ating mga kababayan. How would you respond to that? Kunwari yung sabihin nila, teka, puro ka impeachment eh. Ang problema rito yung problema sa sikmura, yung pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina, ng pagkain, at sanga-sanga pang ibang problema bunso ditong Iran conflict.
Alam po niyo kaya mag-undertake ng Kongreso ng accountability measures katulad ng impeachment kasabay yung pong economic relief measures. Katulad ng ginawa na po ng Kongreso, passed na po on third reading yung pong removal of excise taxes on petroleum products. So, ibig sabihin, hindi ho totoo na meron hong pagbibigay ng bigat sa impeachment habang may nagaganap po krisis sa presyo po ng langis. No? So, tinugunan po ito na magkasabay ng Kongreso over the course of 2 weeks. No? In fact, magkakaroon na po ng Bicameral Conference Committee on the suspension removal of excise taxes on petroleum products. So hopefully by next week, maisalang na po ito for signature of the President. I think that is the best example na even if we undertake accountability measures like impeachment, hindi ho natin binibitawan yung pong mga malalapit sa sikmura, malaking usapin sa ordinaryong pamilyang Pilipino, katulad po ng presyo po ng langis.